Hi guys, that time of the week again, good old Mondays. 13th of October, so halfway through the month. How have we been doing this week? I have found it rather challenging this last week. Between the full moon and everything else. It's been interesting. So, what are we looking for this week? Okay. So, our first card out is, we had this one last week, didn't we? The faux card. Now, did we find out who it was? Or is it one of those, literally, you're being your own worst enemy? I think that's what it's been for me this last week. So, have you found yours? Or has your week been nice and steady and calm? I think many people's has, to be fair. So, I'm guessing this would be our own internal foe that is going on here. And how much work are we putting into it? How much time are we spending on ourselves? And it's all very well turn around and go, yeah, I spend time on myself, but actually, do you? You know, in actual fact, do you spend time on yourself? So how many of us say, oh yeah, I go and do the shadow work and I do this and I do that and I do the other. And in actual fact, you sit there eating popcorn or sweets or crisps and not doing much else, you know? Yes, I've been very guilty of that this last week. I have felt very sorry for myself. So this is why I think it's an internal foe. I think it is your own worst enemy. And this is your wake-up call. Last week should have been your wake-up call, but you weren't listening. So this week, we've got that one. I'll come back to this one in a minute. So, whenever I see house, I think psyche. I think this is the internal workings of you. The fact that we've got the foe and she's got a door and she's about to go in and the door there is open. You've, done this to yourself. You've brought this all on yourself. And it's not something you've done deliberately, I don't think. I think, we're all capable of self-sabotage at some points, but I think actually this is something that you've done unknowingly, something that has happened. And in actual fact, this is the time when you need to sit down and take stock and evaluate and actually think, right, that's the issue here. This is what is going on. And then we can take steps to negotiate our way around it. Seeing this one from the outside, probably not so much. You should be focusing inwards. You should be looking inwards. I quite often find when I do a lot of the shadow work that I will get, for example, dreams of houses. And there are bits that I can't get to, or bits that you just, that thing in the films where you're just walking down the corridor and it's getting further and further and further away. It's like that. It's something that you're not working towards. It's something that you're not attaining. And to me, the house being the psyche, there are rooms that you don't want to go in, but there are rooms that you really should. And normally it's the ones that we avoid that are the ones that we should be going into. So, lots of work coming up. Given the time of year, I would suggest we're verging on ancestral work again. It's October, Samhain. It's about the ancestors for us anyway. So, what are you ignoring? Whatever it was that we've ignored this last week, because we're getting a lot of repeat cards here. We're getting the merchant again, we're getting the foe again. Because we're getting a lot of repeat cards, we are ignoring the work that needs to be done. And, for me, seeing the house from the outside as opposed to, it's not a room, it is a house. So perhaps we're going to be shown a mirror, perhaps something is going to happen that's going to mirror something in us it'll trigger us or whatever. And we need to stop and take stock and figure out why we are being triggered by this sort of thing. Aha, yes, it's not a happy reading this week, is it? So, We have the falseness card again, the looks can be deceiving card. So from what I've said about the house, in that the people are going to be showing you a mirror and it's going to be an emotional trigger for you, this is your biggest thing. It's the lying, it's the deceit. But having had the faux card here, I would suggest you are lying to yourself. So actually these are falsehoods that you are saying to yourself, that you are believing, whether or not you want to believe them. You are talking yourself into it. Don't forget that your body doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. It just doesn't. So whatever you keep telling yourself, that's what your body is going to believe. That's what your brain is going to believe. That's what your conscious thought is going to believe. So, have I sold you on it this week? Have I sold you on the cards this week? These are all cards that we've had out recently. I'm not so sure about the house card, but we have had these 3 cards definitely out recently. And it feels like we're just going round and round and round in circles. So, we need to be able to step away. We need to be able to break away to make a change, because we can't keep going on like this. It's a self-destructive circle. We can't keep doing it. So, when was the last time you showed yourself compassion? When was the last time you showed yourself love? I mean, you know, you generally, the Cupid in here, you think of them as flying around like idiots and making people fall in love. But actually, this one's resting. This one's taking his time. And I think that's what we need to be doing this week. This is our week to, right, okay, so all the stuff that's happened, and we're still not quite there, which is why we're outside the house, not inside of it. But I think this needs to be said this week, that we need to take the time, we need to stop, we need to show ourselves self-care, we need to show love for ourselves, we need to... Worthiness is springing to mind, self-worth. We need to find something that we think defines us. And I think it's going to be something different to what we've had before, how we've always defined ourselves before. I think this new worthiness, I think it's going to be something different. I think once we've done the work here and we've dug into the subconscious and stopped being our own worst enemy, and actually, do you know what? We can do this. We can sell this. Then the self-love, the self-care, I think that's going to start to come through. But it's one of those, it's almost a catch-22 situation, in that I think you need the self-love to get past the faux and the falseness of your own inner thinking. I mean, you know, when has overthinking solved anything? But we still do it anyway, right? So showing yourself love, showing yourself forgiveness, I think that is the key this week. And don't be too hard on yourself, all right? We know that we're all idiots at some point in our lives, okay? You know, in order to be old and wise, one must first be young and foolish. Some of us never go out of that phase. I'm trying not to. But there's a lot of warnings going on this week. The fact that we've got repeat cards, the fact that all the cards that are repeating are not necessarily good ones. I mean, the merchant here, it's snake oil salesman is springing to mind. You know, they're selling things that aren't there. And I think when I say in the overthinking, this is what you've been doing to yourself. You've been giving yourself the snake oil. You've been selling it to yourself. So taking all that aside and taking this one as the overriding card rather than the one that turned around at the beginning, taking the one that was on the top of the deck at the end, your self-love. Taking time to rest, taking time to show yourself compassion. That's the key to this week for me. Okay, guys, I think that's all I'm getting for now. See you next week. Bye for now.